can you talk to us about that, how you felt, and the lessons that you learned by digging deep into yourself?
Good question. So I think sometimes what you fear the most is what keeps you from moving on. And I think sometimes we have to own what we do. We have to own our challenges, and we have to face them. And I don't think you can pass them until you do. And I think for me, my journey there was a lot of challenges. There were a lot of times I had to go into deep thought, you're right, and see, not to give up. The future was still the future. I was only living in the present. And I didn't know what tomorrow was going to bring because it hasn't happened yet. And so not to write the end of my story before it came. And so for me, it was always I knew that sometimes even in tragic moments, there are lessons there. And so this is my 6 decades now moving forward. And so what I've learned is sometimes when if you don't get that job, you get disappointed, but maybe that's a reason that you didn't get it. There's going to be something else that opens up that couldn't have opened up if you had gotten that job. Yeah. And I think sometimes with our journeys, that's the same thing. I mean, I've had some really good experiences and bad experiences. And I don't think if someone said, if you could do it, always say, if you could do something all over, what would you do? And I think I would let it stay the way it was because that was my path. And I don't think I would have been or become the person that I am as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter, as a sister, if I didn't go through those challenges.
That's deep. Because a lot of people would say different. They'd say, man, I wish I could have done this differently. Yeah. And for you to say that, and I know that it's a life that you've reflected on.
It wasn't always happy. I mean, and the biggest journey was Benjamin. Yeah. I mean, that was not how it was supposed to happen. You're supposed to have a baby, be happy, go home, baby's healthy. No issues. No emotion. That's, but that is not what happened. And so, and I had to keep going because I couldn't give up because I had another life I had to take control over or guide, not control. But, so, I think I just look at things differently and I refuse to be the victim of my own bad challenges. Yeah. And people can stay there and never get out. And I think when you're stuck, then the only person you hurt is yourself. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but I won't say that I didn't do it all by myself because I had had good friends, and even the bad friends. Because sometimes the bad friends will help you out of that because, they may say something and you're like, oh, that really pissed me off. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to show you.
I know that story.
So, so having a bad friend isn't really bad because they push you in the direction maybe that you need to go.
Yeah, for sure.
So this leads me into another question. And I seen the many parts in your story in which you had to confront either individuals and situations. What lessons come again? Because it's just something else that a lot of us do in certain points in our lives. We want to avoid dealing with situations or confronting others that have hurt us or have the potential to hurt us. And you've been consistent in standing up for yourself. What lessons can you share with us regarding that?
I think your best advocate is yourself. I mean, we can depend on other people to advocate for us, I think, but you're in charge of your journey. You're in charge of your decisions, your choices. Yeah. And sometimes, maybe something happens and maybe there's a little bit of a challenge and maybe you're not. Maybe somebody forces a choice on you because that happens. But for me, I think I look at the whole picture. And I think for me, there was always someone in the picture that I had to take care of. So it was always not always just about me, but it was always about me and the other person. And whether it was my father and my mother or my son, whether now it's the kids in the Explorer program or, Benjamin and his friends, it's always, it's not about you. It's not just about you. Because if you make yourself better, you can give so much more. And you don't have to be, it's not like, I mean, we have doctorates. You're going for your that doesn't mean we're the brightest person in the room. Because sometimes I'll tell you things go above my head. I'm like, okay, I didn't get the degree in that.
Yeah.
And
that's not what earning a doctorate isn't about being smart. It's about that persistence and that discipline.
They're looking for that status.
They are. Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah.
But I mean, so, I think we all have our own journeys, and and the way you approach it is how you choose. Is how that's your life.
Well-being. Can you tell us something about those two things: taking responsibility and caring for others, or loving our neighbors, as the Bible will say?
Okay, so I think in life somebody has always done something for us. So there's my mentors have been maybe a person I worked for. Maybe it's, that student that gave me some insight that I didn't know. So, I think people give you something and you give to others without the expectation of some kind of payment or without the exception. If I give you this, Omar, I expect a favor next year, I think you just when you ask me to do this, the expectation is not that, okay, now you're going to owe me something. Just
it's like, you're going to be like the Godfather calling in the favor, a couple of years from now.
This is something that you guys, this is your journey, and you've asked a couple of us to come and speak for you. And so it was like, okay, this is what we do for each other, right?
Yeah.
There's you're not paying me. I'm not expecting payment. Well, you're giving me a sandwich.
And a t-shirt. And a t-shirt.
Wink, wink. We're not paying her.
And a t-shirt. You get a t-shirt too. You get a t-shirt. And it's personalized too. But you don't get a t-shirt.
Because I think if your purpose is to do something for someone and with the expectation of you getting something back, then it's all for the wrong reason.
Correct.
And you're not doing it because it's genuine.
Yeah.
And I think and that's how that someone is truly, truly invested in a cause or helping a person or mentoring a person, and you do it at the best that you can.
Yeah,
and that's to me that's we all have to give and take. We're the new generation is coming up, and we're phasing out.
Yes,
and at some point maybe one day they're going to say, oh, Miss Brenda, she helped me out with this, and that's the payback.
Yes,
and it's ironic because I do take stock in children, and so I had this kid for 4 years, and he came by the office yesterday.
Oh,
and I'm like, oh my God, and he's in college
by a surprise.
Now. Yeah, he came to visit me, and
that's awesome.
And now he says, Miss Brenda, when you're ready, I'm gonna take you out to dinner. So I was like, you don't have to. I said, you don't have to. He says, no, I have to.
No.
So I thought, well, that was, but that's it. When someone, I didn't have to do it, any of that. And he didn't have to, we were done. He was going to college. I did my part. I mentored him, and he still came back to say, hey, how you doing? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, and that, you can't put a dollar price on that.
No, not at all.
No.